case they wanted to. So, all right. Today is May 19th, and this is our ACA team meeting. And we're going to start off by just sharing our, I'm going to share my screen. And let's just pull up this agenda. It's going to look crazy for you for a second. All right. Can everyone see the agenda up there on the screen?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. All right, so the first thing that I want to make sure that we're aware of is we have a June 3rd completion date, and I put our meeting dates and times up here. If we need to adjust these dates and times, we certainly can. Or if it's just that you just can't meet with us that week, it's not like we're all just trying to get to the same goal. So, if there's some reason why you can't show up, that's okay. As long as we try to stay in communication with each other, this is just a way for us to try to, keep progressing. So, that's not a huge deal. Doug asked me to send it out for our calendar, so I just sent that, but I put all the dates and times together. So if you select that, it'll go to your calendar, and then I'll send out the agenda every week with a new link. Not a new link. It'll be the same link, but I'll resend it in case that's easier for anybody. Okay, let's just take a look at the basic breakdown we kind of thought about last week of what each of us will be working on, assignments and structure and outcomes and intro, and I kind of put that on our email also. Also, these are some of the things that we wanted to double check on. The EMC to replace iGrad from Dr. Kelly, I sent an email to request that information. It goes into Module 3, but I don't have a response from her yet. Also, they stated in our last meeting that we need to make sure that this module discusses financial aid, not how to get it, but how to keep it. So we want to make sure that when we address Module 3 that we make sure to hit that up. The velocity, I've heard back from Dr. Castleman already. I don't try to just jam up your inbox with stuff, but if you just make a folder and just start dropping it in there in case you ever, need to come back and access any of it. Some of it may not apply to you, but if it doesn't, that's okay. Just drop it into, make yourself a little folder, drop it in there in case you need it for reference later on. But I don't want you guys to think that we're not making progress. Is the only reason why I include you. I want you to know what's going on. So a lady named Bridget from Velocity should be getting back with us so that we can gain access, and that specifically goes into Module 5 according to the layout that the deans have created for us. So,
Hey, Tori.
Yes. Hey, Doug.
I think everybody already has access to Velocity from when they rolled this out. I'll look for the link, but everybody should be able to log in to it now.
Oh, great. Okay.
I'm a little confused on where it fits in here because, as I understand it, Velocity was supposed to be used before they ever become a student, or at least at the intake portion. It's basically a career assessment survey that they're going to take that is supposed to put them in the right program or narrow down which program they should go into. So I'm not quite sure how it fits in to either one of the programs that we're working on. But anyway, I'll see if I can find the link and send it to everybody, and it should just be your regular login to get into the system and see how it operates.
Super awesome. Thank you so much. So you've already had experience with that, which is really great. If you send that to us, I think that will be really awesome. We can kind of get in there. I know in our last meeting, I wrote down notes as we were having the last meeting, and they specifically mentioned Module 5. So maybe we could find a way to sort of, make that work for us. Then the dean said that she had the list of the meta majors, which were also to go in there. And so I reattached that with our stuff as well. And then Dean Pam Gibson also gave us a list of ACA resources. Now, if you have looked at those ACA resources, let me go in there. Let's see here if I can pull that up just really quick. I had it up. We don't need a defibrillator anymore. Let's see here. Is it this one? Okay. Can you see the screen that has the ACA resources listed?
Yes.
No? Okay, so it looks to me like most of these would be like resources to add in there. They're PowerPoints for additional resources. So, maybe we find the module that they would fit best. I'm assuming since they gave these to us, they really want us to use them. So, maybe if we just find the module that they would fit best and we add like an extra resources, or we could just have a course resources and place it in there. I kind of like to have things all in the same module so the students aren't searching around. So maybe that's one of the things that we could also look into. One of the most important things on that is I think we really need to double check for ADA compliance too. So we want to make sure that when we release this course that it has all that in it. And then additional notes from the last meeting is modules 1 through 5 and 8 are the same in both classes. Modules 6 and 7 are the different modules. And with the QEP, some of these things have to be in there. And maybe, Doug, this is why that Velocity is tossed in there, because I remember they said Velocity has to be one of them. So does anyone have any other thoughts from the previous meeting that maybe I missed or that should be tossed in here?
Looks like you covered it.
Okay, so the next thing that I thought I would put on here is this is, and it doesn't matter if this is 120 or 122, because what I think we need to work on first is, the modules that are the same. So they have, our module 1, 2, 3, and then I put 6 and 7 in red, which means stop. We don't need to go into those yet. But if we start with the first sets of modules, and they have some guidance for us in, let me come back over here. In this Blackboard class here, they've got, let's see here. Can you guys see the Blackboard screen now? Not
Yes.
sure if you're able. Okay, good. Okay, so they do have some guidance for us in here. They have some module outcomes in there and a calculator, and that goes, pretty directly along with this guideline here. But what I had Colleen do, and she just got it done just before our meeting, was to create us a blank shell. And I just went in there in a matter of 2 minutes and imported the school template just before we started. I imported the school's template and I put a banner up there just so we can see. That banner doesn't have to stay, but I wanted it to look different from what they had previously, and I wanted it to be easy to see. So this is just the template, the school template with a banner and some buttons. So what I was thinking is, and you see it's got the orientation, so this has not been touched, it was just imported. So what I was thinking is I would start moving the things that they requested over into it. And then we would start kind of adding on to it based off of what our strengths were. And also in the meantime, we could all sort of work on what was our little goals for each other, so for for that module 1, kind of look at the assignments and each of us sort of dig into what our base strengths were. And if you email me that content, what I'll do is I'll take what you have and I will put it in there as ADA compliant. For example, like we have to use those headers in there. And it has to all have the consistent structure. So if in an email is fine, and an attachment is fine, if we want to go ahead for next week and try to look at this, just the module 1, because the module 1 doesn't go super deep yet, and I know we're missing some people, so if we kind of just look at this module 1, and we know we're not using the Velocity yet, and we know we're not using the EMC just yet. So if we kind of look at the module 1, they want us to have some sort of policies and procedures, quizzes and discussion boards. If we kind of look at that and you dig into what your specific strength was, do you think it's a possibility that sometime before Tuesday you could maybe send me what you think should go into that.
Hello? Or is sorry. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now.
Oh, I was gonna say that sounds good. What I wanted to ask, because I've already been working on the assignments for the modules. I just hadn't had them polished enough to send before the meeting.
Uh-huh.
And also I wanted to share with Donna because I don't want to just kind of wanted to give her an idea of what I was thinking and then get some. Not Donna. Was it Donna? No, Dina. And I meant to email her back too. I just forgot. Thought
She's
I
a
did.
12-month yeah, and she's a
Yes.
12-month employee, so she'd probably appreciate that little break. So anyway,
Yeah. So
yeah.
but I already had some ideas, but my question was the orientation module. I had notes, but I did not have notes on what we wanted in that orientation module. I remember thinking like a scavenger hunt of some sort, but I couldn't remember what they wanted us to cover in the orientation. Or are we taking it out?
No, I think it needs to be in there because that'll be their 10%. And I think the deans had also mentioned a scavenger hunt, and that was on my little checklist here of the very next thing to look at. So let's just jump into it. If you guys are cool with starting off that module one, if you're cool with just emailing me your content, I'll make sure it's all consistent and I'll load it in there. And every week we get together, we'll double check it, and you can email me and say, girl, that ain't right, and I'll change it or whatever, if I didn't meet the goal that you thought that it was supposed to have in there.
Sorry.
But yes, ma'am.
So my part is the introduction for each module. Um,
Okay.
so my introductions still have that, cute little moniker thing that says introduction. And then we just put in for our introductory statement, what the topic is or what the module is designed under. And ours is usually like a 1 or 2 liner. Is that sufficient
Yeah,
for
I
each
think that's all
module?
we
Do you
need.
want more?
No, and the introduction may or may not be able to be complete. I mean, you might have the start of the introduction, but then ultimately you might say, all right, well, I'd like to sort of tweak this a little bit after seeing all the assignments that are put in there.
Right.
So sometimes the introduction may come after. You might be a week behind because you
Yeah.
might want to see all the stuff that's in there and write the introduction based off of that.
So what I was basing it off of to just think about ahead is the course map and what they have.
Yes. Yeah.
And
And
then
we're going to follow that course map to the T because I
once
know
you
that's
guys
what you
put the
want.
assignments and stuff in it, then I can tweak them, but I can start putting the basics in. And you want me
Yeah.
to email that to you, or you want me to just put them in?
If you want to just put it in, the only problem that I had with other people putting it in is that sometimes the introduction's probably not a big deal, is if you copy and paste like from a Word document, it takes all that code and puts it in
Right.
there.
Right.
So if you're going to straight up type it in, that'd be super awesome.
Okay.
If you want to put it in a Word document first, if you send it to me, I'll strip all that out because I want this class to be as clean as possible so
Yeah.
that if anyone ever goes in to try to do a course evaluation for, ADA compliant or anything like that, we will never have any issues. But, if you're straight up typing it in, then go ahead and put it in. But it's easier for me to control it if I'm putting it in and I'm making sure you won't have any headers that you have to worry about.
Right. So
So
I will just do a running Word document for each module. And then as you guys
okay.
start tweaking your stuff in, then I can start tweaking. But if I can just get a jump on all 5 or 6 that are done, sort of kind of,
Yeah.
then I
So
can
kind of
tweak those.
unfortunately for you, you work and then you have to go back and retweak a little bit, but I don't think
I'm
it'll
a
be
back
too
end
bad.
girl in this process, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
for that introduction for this orientation one, they had mentioned some sort of um, an orientation activity. I'm going to turn this into a module instead of just an activity. This will have like a module here because I think it needs some directions as well with the census data and stuff. So instead of this just being a straight up activity, I'm just going to move this here into, oh, it is a little folder. Okay. Oh, we'll put the item, it just doesn't have it listed in there. So here we'll have our introduction to, in this one. And then we'll put our activity in there. So this will have the same format. They all need to have the same format as this here. So it will still have an introduction and stuff in that, in this orientation activity one. I almost feel like the orientation can't be complete until the class is complete, and only because I was thinking scavenger hunt because that's what they mentioned. Are you guys cool with doing the orientation activity last?
For sure. That's fine.
Okay. Because then if it's going to build off of what's in the class, I feel like if we build the class first and then create the scavenger hunt, because they mentioned asking things that were like in the syllabus or in the course. So then we would save this orientation piece for last once it's built, if that's cool. Okay, so let's go back over here and just take a look at this. I don't want to keep us super long because there's really no need for all that. And I didn't want to do too much, so I'm going to say orientation last. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to take notes for those who aren't here. And then, so I was thinking that our goals for next week is that maybe we would identify and review the participants for review velocity, but if Doug can get us,
I just sent a link to everybody through the chat, but
okay.
I can email that to everybody.
Oh, that'd be super cool.
You may have to actually go in and set up an account for it.
Okay.
Shouldn't be a problem, but I think it's probably going to be a good idea if everybody could try to get in and log in and look at that, because again, it probably needs to be something at the very beginning of these modules, only because it's supposed to help the student and the advisor find out which program the student should be in. So it may actually have to happen before they get into the ACA courses. And I know Dr. Sorrells wants to make these mandatory for everybody to take the ACA courses. But from what we discussed with Velocity to begin with, they're really looking at it almost at the high school level before they get to us. So I think it's important that we look at that to understand how it fits in with the ACA modules, so we don't get it too far back in the program if we decide to put it in one of the modules.
That's super awesome. I'm glad you have experience with that. I'll take the link that you shared with us and also send it out with the follow-up notes and ask if everyone can take a look, and maybe next week we can discuss our thoughts on it. Is that cool?
Yep, absolutely.
Pretty cool. Okay, thanks so much, Doug. What about is there anyone who wants to jump into EMC if I get the information for that? Or I'll just send it out to anyone. Maybe we could all just take a quick look at it after I get the information. I don't even, quite honestly, I don't know what EMC is. Doug, do you have experience with that also or no?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
But somebody else doesn't know, because I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't either.
See, that's one of those acronyms we all need to know.
Right?
Yeah. I looked it up, but could not go really too far in it without some type of login. But I think it's a lot of the financial literacy.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. Okay, yeah. So, Dr. Kelly, I'm sure will get back with us. I'm sure, I know they've got meetings like constantly, so I'm sure once she gets done, she will send us that, and I'll make sure that everyone gets a copy of it so we could check it out. The next thing was identifying the format for submitting work for the final course. I am not trying to be a control freak. If you guys want to type your content in there, but if you're going to type it in, please use the headers and the template. If, I kind of look at it like my contribution is kind of organizing it so that's all consistent. So if you just send it to me in a Word file, I will put it in there in the proper format and make sure it's all ADA compliant. So it doesn't matter to me how you guys address that, but I'll be happy to do that if you want to. and then also review the documents on the Google Drive for ADA compliance. I was thinking this, if we could get everyone to take a look at the files on the drive and see where they belong for next week, we could put them in the resources. And if you guys tell me where you want them, like I can come up with a listing, so all you have to do is just say, you know, module 3, module 2, module 1, or whatever.
Tori, could I sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt,
please.
but
No, you do it.
I looked at a few of the favorite things, and that looked like a PowerPoint from a professional development course they did. So I don't think that would be something we would really need in our course.
Okay. Did anyone look at the plant and seeds? I have not looked at any of these because I was trying to get other stuff done.
Right, and I just looked at the very first one, so
Oh,
just
okay.
FYI, it looked like it was a PowerPoint from a presentation they did maybe at this conference about what they had
Oh,
learned. So from the first one, I don't think it's anything we need to
so I'll
include.
skip that one. Okay.
Yeah,
And it was probably not ADA compliant.
Okay.
I'm looking at the titles even, and because I just got a chance to scan it, all of this looks like
A resource for, yeah.
teachers, faculty, admin stuff. It doesn't look like anything the students can use, to be honest. It's because it's like
Um,
advising, unconscious bias. They can't do any of this. So this might just help us maybe.
help us. Okay. All right, that's great. So maybe I honestly I've not I've gone to the link, but I have not had time to look at any of it. So maybe we'll just double check that for next week then, and we'll just ask everyone just kind of click into it and see, you know, how we could use any of that, if that's cool. Okay, awesome. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing now because that's actually, and let me get back to collaborate. Okay, cool. Okay, so we've kind of just gone through everything that I felt like we needed to check out for today. Who wants to add anything on there? We've got some really good stuff. I'm copying Doug's link right now so I can send it out to anyone who wasn't here. Anyone have anything that they want to add? Cool. Okay. So we'll meet next Tuesday, and between now and next Tuesday, whatever you guys get me, I will. We kind of already have a pretty good start. I didn't want to just jump the gun without including everyone because I know some people aren't here, but all right. Are we cool with that then? I'm going to stop recording because I don't want to bore anyone who may want to